Kawati kai tawa haupa, dushinome kutu tuitza, eshte kohayahano esh rashka washti shrata. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the American Indian Alaska Native Tourism Association's webinar, the AIANTA Town Hall. My name is Bianca Mitchell. I am from the Pueblo of Acoma, and I am AIANTA's Education Manager. I will be serving as today's webinar moderator and managing the questions and answers at the end of the presentation. For those of you who are not familiar with AIANTA, for nearly 2 decades, AIANTA has served as a national voice for American Indian nations engaged in cultural tourism. In addition to serving as the voice for Indian country tourism, AIANTA provides technical assistance and training to tribal nations and Native-owned enterprises engaged in tourism, hospitality, and creation. AIANTA's mission is to define, introduce, grow, and sustain American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian tourism that honors traditions and values. Thank you all again for joining us for the second session of our interactive new town hall series. Our CEO, Sherry L. Rupert, who is Paiute and Washu, and Emerson Vio, who is our board president of AIANTA, who's also from the Pueblo of Acoma, will lead this two-way conversation, and we welcome feedback from everyone, especially tourism professionals and industry stakeholders. During this forum, we will hold an open dialogue about our consumer travel site, NativeAmerica.travel. Celebrating its 6th anniversary this year, NativeAmerica.travel is due for a major refresh. The site, which provides travel recommendations to visitors interested in exploring Indigenous experiences throughout the country, offers free listings for all federally and state recognized tribes, as well as all Native-owned hospitality industry enterprises. As we here at AIANTA look to redesign NativeAmerica.travel, we are seeking valuable community feedback on how the site can best reflect the engaging, dynamic Indigenous experiences available to domestic and international visitors. AIANTA's new quarterly town hall series explores the future of the hospitality industry while seeking real-time feedback from tribal tourism industry professionals. These free quarterly sessions are open to the entire hospitality industry and tribal tourism leadership, cultural heritage professionals, tour operators, hotelers, small business owners, artisans, and anyone interested in the prosperity of their local communities. An overview of each session, including comments from the audience, will be posted at IdeaExchange and will be shared with elected representatives who have an interest in driving economic development among their constituencies. Our next town hall session will be on September 29th at 1 p.m. and this will focus on tourism marketing initiatives for 2022 and beyond. And then our last session will be October 26th, and this will be held at the American Indian Tourism Conference in Fort McDowell, Arizona, in person. And for more information about the Town Hall series, you can learn more about these sessions at our website at ianta.org. Again, thank you for joining us. I am pleased to introduce Mr. Emerson Vio, who is AIANTA's board president. He's from our Southwest region. Mr. Vio, a tribal member from the Pueblo of Acoma, is the president of the board of directors for AIANTA. Emerson is on his second term as a tourism commissioner for the New Mexico Tourism Department. He is the Native representative for tourism in New Mexico. He has also served as chairman of the board of directors for the Acoma Business Enterprises, chairman of the board of trustees for Haku Museum, and the director for Sky City Cultural Center and Museum at the Pueblo of Acoma. Mr. Vile has been an active board member of AIANTA for 6 years. His primary interests are the economic development of his pueblo, the welfare of his native lands, and the promotion of cultural tourism in New Mexico and all of Indian country. He is an Air Force veteran with more than 24 years of service. He has served as the Chief Executive Officer for the Isleta Business Corporation. Currently, he serves as the Principal Systems Engineer for the Air Force's Distributed Mission Operations Center's Modeling and Simulation Enterprise. And I'd like to welcome our CEO for AIANTA, Mrs. Sherry L. Rupert. She has nearly 2 decades of executive level experience managing and promoting Native American tourism. Since joining AIANTA as CEO in 2019, she has spearheaded several initiatives, including the organization's groundbreaking new tribal agritourism program and overseeing AIANTA's first ever virtual American Indian Tourism Conference, which drew a record number of registrants in 2020. As CEO of the only national association dedicated to Indigenous tourism, she is the healing voice when it comes to advocating for travel and tourism as a significant economic driver in tribal nations. Among her responsibilities, she curates a robust educational program for tribes and Indigenous-owned hospitality enterprises around the country. Prior to assuming the role of CEO, she was president of AIANTA's board of directors since 2010. During that time, she was instrumental in working with Congress to pass the Native American Tourism and Improving Visitor Experience Act, the NATIVE Act. Sherry was formerly the executive director of the State of Nevada Indian Commission, where she reported directly to the governor of Nevada to serve as a liaison to the state's 27 tribes, bands, and colonies. During her tenure, she developed the Nevada Indian Territory Initiative and won awards and accolades for her work in preserving the site of the Stewart Indian School as a museum and cultural center. Thank you all again for joining us, and at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Sherry and Emerson.
Great, thank you, Bianca, and welcome everybody to today's session. It's a great opportunity for us to visit with you today and talk to you about NativeAmerica.travel and get some ideas from you on how we can update and refresh NativeAmerica.travel. As Bianca said in my lengthy introduction, I am Paiute and Washoe. I am from the state of Nevada, and I reside now here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where AIANTA is headquartered. So let's go ahead and get started with just a preview of where we're going today. The agenda, we're going to start out with a little bit about NativeAmerica.travel, an introduction to the site, a little bit about the site content, and really what our goals are for the redesign of the site, and then a discussion going through each of the different areas on the site, and Emerson's going to lead that discussion. So a little bit about NativeAmerica.travel. We are the only destination website representing American Indian, Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian visitor destinations and experiences. There are free listings available for tribes. Every tribe has a page available to them if they so wish. And we wish that they utilize the page, as well as Native Hawaiian, Alaska Native, and Indigenous hospitality businesses. So it's a great way to market your business, your entity for free on NativeAmerica.travel. As Bianca mentioned, the website is in its 6th year, and so we're due for an update, and we want to know what you think. So I'm going to pull up the first poll vote that we have here for you, and we wanted to ask you, have you ever used a website to plan a vacation? And does everybody have the poll up on their screens? Looks like a good number of you have voted. We'll just give it a few more seconds. Okay, I think that's probably a good part of you. I'm going to go ahead and share the results. So you can see here that 78% of you plan your vacation utilizing a website, and about 22% don't use a website. So that's a pretty good indication that these websites are very helpful in planning your future vacations. So NativeAmerica.travel 2021. To start, we'll run through the site as it is today, highlighting a few key discussion points, and then we'll hold any questions or discussion until later in the presentation. So for now, this is what the home page looks like. You can see at the top on the bar, experiences, destinations, itineraries, maps, and travel. Under featured experiences is essentially the NativeAmerica.travel blog. And so you can see here the Shoshone-Bannock Festival, the Inupiat Carvers of Shishmaref, Alaska, Spring in Talking Stick, the Merry Monarch Festival, and Tour the Everglades. So we're trying to make it visually exciting for people when they come to the website. We also have a destinations section. When you scroll down on the home page, you'll get to the destination section, and this is where we have the different destinations here: Alaska, California, the Great Basin, Great Plains, Hawaii, and Midwest. And again, trying to make it visually pleasing so people will be kind of enticed to the site and will spend some time looking around. These are the tribal pages. As I mentioned, there's a page on this website for every federally recognized and state recognized tribe. And I want to stress, you know, yes, it's our consumer-facing tourism website, but we understand that there are tribes out there that maybe aren't quite ready and have not made that decision for their community to have people come and visit. And so this is an opportunity to share their information as a tribe, and tribes can add or update content at their convenience. All of the content on NativeAmerica.travel comes from the tribes. We now have someone on staff that can help the tribes to, you know, draft their content, but everything comes from the tribe and is approved by the tribe. This here are the tribal pages. So when you click into the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, for example, this page includes links to all tribally owned businesses listed on the site. So you can see here, Choctaw Casino and Resort, the Choctaw Travel Plaza, their hunting lodge, their welcome center, their farms, the pecan oil, and the Choctaw Country Market. So you can have, you know, all of these listings on your web page. We also have itineraries on the site. So you can see the 6 that are listed here. So there's the opportunity, and we've been talking a lot with the tribes across the nation in creating more of these itineraries. So this is where we would put those for the consumer to take a look at. We also have Native-owned business listings on the website. This one here is Salmon King Fisheries, and we actually got to meet Bridget when we were up there. She's from Warm Springs, Oregon, and so we got to have a meal with her and go see her storefront and talk to her about all of the things that she offers with Salmon King Fisheries. We also list accommodations on the site. This one here is the Shoshone Rose Casino and Hotel. Museums and cultural sites, of course, are really important, allowing the tribes to tell their stories. And, you know, a lot of the travelers that come to Indian country are interested in the tribes themselves and wanting to know more about the culture. And so these are very important to have listed on NativeAmerica.travel. Also historic sites, parks, and byways. So not necessarily on tribal land, but have history. This is Confluence at Cape Disappointment State Park. Actually had the opportunity to visit there as well, and it's a beautiful, beautiful area, but has significance to the tribes there. Actually, it's the Chinook tribe, and tells the story about Lewis and Clark, and that's really the last one of the last points that Lewis and Clark visited on their journey across the U.S. And we also list events and powwows. I know, when we travel abroad, people are always looking for those powwows. They want to know if they can come, and they want to know where they're at. This one is the Stewart Father's Day powwow out of Carson City, Nevada. And we also list artists, galleries, and performers. And this is an area that I think we'd really like to increase the number of artists and performers on here. When we travel anywhere, one of the first things that I look for are the art and the jewelry, the shops, the gift shops and galleries where we can purchase something and take something home. And let's see, NativeAmerica.travel map. This is our map of the United States, and all of the experience, attractions, accommodations, tribes are all on here. So you can go to each one of those little bubbles and click on those and find those experience, attractions, accommodations, and tribes. On the map as well, we have the different regions. These regions actually differ from IANTA's regions that we use internally, but this is our NativeAmerica.travel regions. Right now we have 12 of those regions, and so you can actually search on the website by region if you're interested in visiting a certain area. And then, so once you go into the region, this is what that landing page looks like for the Northwest. And we're at another poll question. So, did you know IANTA features a new NativeAmerica.travel listing in its newsletter every month? Yes or no? So go ahead and take a few seconds to answer that question for us. We're almost there. I think we're there. So predominantly no, people did not know that IANTA features a new NativeAmerica.travel listing in its newsletter every month. So keep on the lookout for that when we send our newsletters out. Okay, so now we're getting to the section where we want to talk about why we want to redesign. And in priority order, more visitor traffic. We're interested in getting more people to the site, so that way they can see and connect with the information for each of the tribes and for the Native-owned and Hawaiian-owned businesses. To offer a better visitor experience. We know that, when you're traveling somewhere, if you really want to know the true essence and the true culture of that area, you're going to go with a person from that place. And so that's what we want to do, offer that better visitor experience. We also want more content on the website. We have some great content on there now, but again, as I said, there's a space for all of the 574 tribes in the nation. And also increase awareness about the tribes, our culture, the experiences to be had in the tribal communities, and the businesses along the way. Those small Native-owned businesses are really key to the entire experience when you're out there in Indian country. So in regard to more traffic, midway through June, we've welcomed nearly the same amount of traffic to the website as all of last year. So, you know, we're hearing about that pent-up demand out there for people to travel after COVID-19, and we're certainly seeing that on NativeAmerica.travel. So we want, of course, more of that. Better user experience. We want the site to be more accessible for travelers and for Native businesses updating their content on the site. So we want to make it easy for everybody, for the viewer and for the user. More content. Content on the site has increased by 60% in the last 3 years, but there's still a long way to go. Restaurants, as you can see, have the least amount of growth, and we definitely want to increase our focus on culinary tourism and increasing content and awareness of Native-owned restaurants and cuisine. When we were up in the Pacific Northwest, we stopped at a few Native-owned restaurants, and you know, I've been up there several times, numerous times, and never knew that there were the Native-owned restaurants, coffee shops, coffee houses up there. So this website is a great way to find all of those types of businesses. More awareness. Robust NativeAmerica.travel will generate more awareness of the thousands of Native American, Alaskan Native, and Native Hawaiian cultural experiences around the country. And we're to NativeAmerica.travel discussion, and I'm going to turn it over to Emerson.
Good afternoon, everyone. A lot of familiar faces out there in virtual land, looks like. Hope everyone's doing well. And I appreciate you attending our town hall. A lot of good information here, a lot of things to discuss, really. And also, if anything pops up into your cranium, go ahead and put it in the chat room. And that way we can get to it, and we don't waste time waiting for people to put in their comments or questions or anything like that. So please feel free to put whatever is on your mind into the chat room, and we'll get to it. Okay, NativeAmerica.travel homepage. You kind of saw the homepage earlier, and here are some questions to ponder. What content do you expect to see on a travel site homepage? This is a poll vote, yeah. No, poll vote, and please make your selections, and we'll see what's all on your minds. And again, like I said, just put it in your chat room and see, make additional comments with your poll vote.
Well, the Olympics are coming up soon, Emerson, so you're not too far off.
Roger that. So I'll give you guys a few minutes to vote, and I know whoever's monitoring this can let me know when it's time to press on. There's a lot of things that can go on a homepage, but we also don't want it to really overwhelm a visitor coming to the page. We want to be kind of selective on what we show. I think the gist of the homepage is to kind of give an awareness of what to expect once they delve into the site. Okay, so what we have back here is 85% of you a blog and or travel suggestions. Good one. Yes, a lot of people probably don't, wherever they're visiting, don't really know where they want to go or what they want to see, or even are aware of what's out there. And having a blog or where people can go in and discuss areas visited and make suggestions on what to go see, where to go, what to eat, and where to eat, etc., will be a good thing. High quality photography was next. That's a good one too as well, so folks can get an idea of what to expect once they reach their destinations and take a look around, and this would kind of help them to really pump up their enthusiasm to go visit Indian country and wherever it may be. And and hopefully draw more tourists to native country that have tourism. Even if they don't, if they go to an area where there's natives, they'll still be able to kind of see what's there. Just lost the pose, so I guess it's trying to tell me something. Press on. Anyway, those are good inputs probably to consider. Again, we just don't want to overwhelm the homepage, but we want to make it to look inviting and send a message out that says, come visit, you know, take a look, you know, there's more inside. Let's go. Okay, next. Okay, what do you think is the top item missing from the NativeAmerica.travel homepage? Again, questions you can go ahead and put in your chat, and if someone can help me track that, maybe I can answer as we go along. Let's see. Second question is, what would you like visitors to know about visiting your destination specifically? Again, photography, everybody's kind of a visual type of person, so they can see, and if you add verbiage with the photograph, of course, it'll draw more people to that destination. Lastly, what would you like visitors to know about visiting Native America, Alaska Native, or Native Hawaiian destinations in general? If you ever visited any Native American sites or Alaska Native and Native Hawaiian destinations, probably a good idea if we do have a blog in there to put this out there and give an idea of what's in Native country, Native Hawaiian destinations, etc. Besides the beaches, there's other things that you can see in Hawaii, along with Alaska is the same thing. I know Denali Park up there is very beautiful, so you don't want to get lost up there though. But if you ever been and hiked in that area, I'm sure people will have some pretty good suggestions on what to do, where to go, and what to see. Okay.
Emerson, we just had a nice comment from Reynaldo. There needs to be a section targeting outdoor travel, including, as you mentioned, outdoor travel, as you mentioned, including RV, hiking, bike packing, water activities.
Excellent comment. Yes, I think one thing missing in some of these travel sites, destinations, is to include exactly that, RV parks, if there's any nearby, or if the tribe or your destination has an RV park, you can always inquire about what it costs and what it takes to park there. Same way with hiking trails, if there's any, bike riding, bike trails, backpacking, etc. You know, all those and the water activities too would be very good information to have if you're traveling to a certain part of the nation. So thank you, Ronaldo. Okay, next.
Any other comments on the homepage? Okay, we can move to the next slide. Oops, sorry.
Okay, IdeaExchange. In the chat, please write the article about your travel tourism enterprise you'd like to see on NativeAmerica.travel. For those of you that are on the site or haven't signed on to the site, your tribe hasn't, please, I really, truly highly encourage tribes to get on the site and keep it updated and provide more information. It'd be the first voice type of thing where you actually, or the tribal members or tribes will tell their story by having the third person tell their story. Very important that this happens, and again, it doesn't have, you know, the tribe doesn't have, I don't believe, has to have a tourism enterprise, but if the surrounding reservation has things to see that's partially open, of course, they can share that as well. And it may eventually turn into a tourism enterprise, so you never know. So you just got to try things out as you go along. Okay.
We had a couple more great comments, Emerson. One from Andrew Leary. Going along with the outdoor recommendations could be an opportunity to talk about what responsible recreation looks like for visitors.
Okay.
From Lisa Waterman, non-native website visitors, an intro paragraph that defines Native American, American Indian would be good, including the number of different tribes. And then a couple more. I don't know. Feel free to interrupt me. I'm just reading them off to you, but add to Lisa's comments how to be respectful when visiting a village, like don't look in people's windows. And exactly. And Pretty Korea said it would be great to see a listing of native art shows.
Awesome. All the way from a visitor to local native artisan. Yes, I'll address the first one from Prudy Korea. Yes, it'd be good to see a listing of native art shows that may be out there that people would be interested in, or even highlighting the native artisans that are within the respective tribes. Of course, some do make a living with their art, and that's the only job or means of income they have. So it's always good to promote the local native artisan as well. Good comments on how to be respectful when you visit in native country. Maybe it could be a good idea to put a one-pager on there of do's and don'ts. Yes, I know, being from the Pueblo of Acoma, we're a small village on top of a rock. Everybody wants to look inside and curious about what inside looks like of people's homes. They're private homes. So yes, addressing that with visitors is probably a good idea. And if you do have an enterprise, maybe your tour guides or your docents can explain, the do's and don'ts when visiting native country. Some people do take real offense to having people peeking into their windows and so forth. And if the visitor is well informed, or at least informed of the do's and don'ts, then it'd be a better experience not only for the visitor but also for the tribal members as well. Yes, addressing all the different tribes, 573, I believe, are federally recognized tribes along with state recognized tribes. Goes to show the visitor, especially if they're from another country coming in to visit America, they'll see the diversity of Native American tribes. We're not all the same. Everybody has different cultures, different dialects that they speak, and definitely, certainly a different type of history for each tribe. So that's always a good thing to put that out there, a little bit of good to know stuff. Mm-hmm. And same way with recreation, I guess one comment to address that will be, again, it'd be kind of the list of do's and don'ts. You don't want to go out there and tear up terra firma and destroy the beautiful landscape that is out there for different areas. So that's always a good thing too to point out when people come visit. I know I have a friend that works up in Moab, and very upset about people just going jeeping here and there. Even if there's no trail there, they create one and it just tears up the whole landscape. So we don't want to see that. Okay. Okay, next subject is the NativeAmerica.travel featured experiences. I'm sure a poll question will pop up here. What type of featured experiences, stories would you like to see in this section? Go ahead and make your votes, and I'll go ahead and talk. I know there's not a very long time this poll stays up. Festivals and events, that's always good to list. Unique things to see and do. Definitely, whether it's agriculture, culinary, anything, meet the locals. Yes, most tribal members are open to speak with just anyone, just to learn about other people as well, and have them get to know them as well. Types of tours that may be available. Yes, those are always good. Culinary experiences, and a lot of these really enhances the visitors' experience when they come and visit Indian country. So a lot of things are probably applicable to the tribal member to present. Unique things to see and do, that's pretty high, yes. Again, this goes back to the visitor's experience. What unique thing does a tribe do or have that would really open up the eyes of the visitor, especially if they're foreign visitors? You know, they may be something out there that they've never seen or never done, you know, and when you give them that experience, you know, I'm sure the best marketing to do out there is by voice and by person. So they'll spread that word. So more people will come and visit if you have something unique to show and do. Festivals and events, yes, the second highest. Always a good thing. You know, we have a lot of different cultures out there, a lot of different festivals. For example, here in the state of New Mexico, there's a lot of different feast days that all our 23 tribal Pueblo tribes have. And it's throughout the year that they hold, and some are open to non-natives and natives together, and you know they're able to come in and experience that. And all across the country too, you have different powwows, you have bird dances out in California, and we're at you know, just different type of um, native ways of saying thanks to what we have, and those are usually done through dancing and other events. So that's always good to put out there. Okay. Okay, featured experiences, open discussion. Is the title featured experiences compelling enough to draw you into the page or the site or the site? Go ahead and make your comments in the chat room. Is it clear how featured experiences are different than regular listings? Is a title like Shoshone Bannock Festival long enough? Do the experiences and need subtitles, dates, category tags, etc.? You know, some of the things to think about that we can put on here, and you know, any suggestions you have for us to improve our site in the featured experiences would be very beneficial to IdeaExchange. And then also, once we, you know, make all the changes and build it up, this will also enhance the visitors experience coming into the site. So hopefully we'll have a site that's really inviting to visitors. Hey, I want to go there, etc. So please make all your suggestions. Mm-hmm. Dates, yeah, I saw that. Dates will be helpful. Sure. Sometimes we forget, we put these things on and we don't put a date down or a time. But then again, you know, think about Indian time, right? That's kind of different. No, just kidding. So yeah, dates and times will be very useful to put on whatever you're featuring. Okay. Okay, next. IdeaExchange, and please write, yeah, in the chat room again. The name of one Native American, Alaska Native, or Native Hawaiian destination on your bucket list. Yeah, where would you really like to go and visit, or where would you like to have friends and family go visit that you went to visit before, and you pass that information on? That'd be useful to know. Mm-hmm. Target our audiences out there, the tourists. It's always also good to know the demographics of some of our visitors coming into the country to visit Native America. That way, when if you have a marketing department, they can target that specific demographic feel, and then, you know, put more information out there. But we also need to hit all across the board as well. Need to tag experiences with nearby high traffic attractions. That's a good one. Yeah, some Native tribes are located next to pretty well-known sites. For example, Glacier Park, next to the Blackfeet Nation there. That's probably a good thing to kind of, maybe if you're from that area, you know, get with the park and see how you can cross market each other and so forth. Do you buy tags on Google to drive traffic to the site? I'll have to ask the staff on that. Do we buy any tags? Monica?
Sorry, I was muted. We do not currently do any advertising, but that's after we do the redesign, that's part of the plan.
Okay, yeah, and once we do, I guess we'll also look at marketing and doing a different type of languages, you know, to target Italians, Germans, French, etc. You name it, and there may, you know, that would also enhance overseas visitors to really understand where they could possibly go and experience more things. Crow Fair in York, Red Route canoe tours. That's pretty interesting. I'm sure that'll be if you're into water, you know, and excitement. That's probably a good thing to go visit that area. Cahokia Mounds. Where is that located? Any idea? Missouri? Yeah. Those are interesting. Alaska, of course, there's so much to see in Alaska. DX Ranch. Is that a dude ranch or what kind of ranch is that? Anyone?
Sorry, I keep forgetting I'm on mute. Yes, it's a native owned. It's actually a working cattle ranch, but they also have experience with visitors.
Awesome. I've read a little bit about working ranches. Those are very, very neat to see, I guess, and visit because you actually go out with the cowboys and do what they do to a certain point. Immersive backpacking and camping locations, yes. Indian country probably has quite a few since we do have reservations in some cases. Music, dance festivals, yeah, that's always good to know if there's any. There's a lot of native musicians, possibly dance performances in a certain area. I know Gallup here in the state of New Mexico, they have during the summer months, they put on some dances there at their downtown plaza. Okay, next. Travel listings on the NativeAmerica.travel. Poll questions. Have you ever created or updated a listing at NativeAmerica.travel? Simple. Yes or no? I know I've tried. It can be a little challenging. However, if you're good at social media and all that, I'm sure it'd be kind of simple to do to update your tribe's site. And if you're not the webmaster, you could say for the tribe and whoever has that responsibility to keep the page updated would be a good idea just to make contact with that person so you can give them updated information or additional information to have them post on the website for the tribe. And again, I'm encouraging as much as possible every time I talk to somebody different, so get your tribe on there, get them on NativeAmerica.travel because that's where you're going to get the word out and get your tribe the visibility needed to have tourism, come help in your economic development. Okay, yes, I kind of figured that 70%. Probably never have. And most of us probably never will unless the tribe so designates us or you as the keeper of the site to update and so forth. But I myself have difficulty trying to get someone from my own tribe, from the administration and from the tribal offices to do this. I don't understand why it's so difficult for them to commit. I have a IT guy that does all that, but doesn't seem to hold any interest. So yeah, and I can see the difficulty behind that. But if we explain to them, and I've tried this also, is to here's the benefits, here's the good thing about having this on having your tribe or having the tribe on the website, Native America, especially if you do have a tourism enterprise like we do. We have a cultural center and museum, and we give tours of our pueblo. I mean, to me, it's very important that we do this and update the page, and also get the word out that we're open for business. Not right at this time, but in the future when we open back up, that is important, because we're gonna have to try and get back to the levels of 2 years ago when we had open visitation to the tribe before COVID hit. So it's important that tribes do try to get as much marketing done as possible. And the best thing about this for NativeAmerica.travel, it's free. You don't have to pay for marketing. You don't have to pay to put your tribe on the site and so forth. So it's a good deal for the tribes. Hopefully they take advantage of that. Does IANTA reach out to non-native tourism professionals? I believe we do, and I think we do during conferences that we attend to discuss what they do and what we do, and maybe in the long term try to form some sort of collaborative effort to help each other out and so forth. Monica or Sherry, do you have any additional comments?
Well, Lisa, I was wondering if you're asking about, partnerships that we engage in, or are you talking specifically about NativeAmerica.travel and their participation on the website?
I'm a travel writer, and I've had the opportunity several times to write stories that reflect Native American, American Indian experiences. But I would venture to say that the majority of folks that I know in the tourism realm have very little, if any, knowledge of the kind of information that's on this site, and might not know of any way. They may not know the site exists or how to reach it. So that's where the question comes from.
I see. Well, I think I'll let Monica answer that, because I know she does a lot of the outreach for us.
Yes, so this hour session, and it's very short to get everything done, is sort of to discuss the content on the site. So we have been
Sure.
outreach with several tourism organizations, and then fine-tuning to each of their needs what they like, and then in return obviously also creating the listings on this site. But we haven't done too much outreach with tourism NTOs and CVBs specific to the site, because we know that we're redesigning it, so we'd like it to be sort of more in an advanced stage before we make those conversations specific to the site. But we do have partnerships and relationships with destinations, and are looking to increase those as well, and then subsequent to increasing, also increasing the availability of back and forth links on both sites, ours to their sites and theirs to our site.
Right.
So the short answer is yes. The longer answer is there's more that can be done.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. A couple good comments here. One, do we have a 30-minute workshop, or are we going to hold one? I think the staff is working on that, to hold some sort of maybe a computer-based training to how to get on the website, or how to put the tribe on the website, or how to put enterprises on the website, etc. And another thing, how do we know if a person or tribe is actually indigenous? Well, we actually, I believe, go through the tribe itself, so they can vet their own people and be legit to get on the website and have your list in there. Okay. Some of the open discussion items there, as you can read. I won't go through each one, but again, please feel free to make your comments in the chat room, or go ahead and voice it. Next. IdeaExchange, your biggest challenge when creating or updating your listings. I know 70% said they never have done one. So again, to address this, I would say yes, once the staff completes the webinar series, or a CBT, computer-based training type thing, then we'll put that information out there, and you can take a look and see what you think, and provide feedback, and also start creating your own sites. Next. Dating content. A poll question coming up. Take a look. I'll keep on talking here. Don't know how to start. Would like Anna to help me. Again, addressing the training looks like that's what we need to provide in order for folks to know how to get on the site and add content and so forth. Mm-hmm. And will you be charged by AIANTA? Sure, we would like to charge you, but no, just kidding. Again, it's all free for the tribe, so yes, you won't be charged. We'll provide as much information, training that we can. Again, your comments, your feedback would really help in this area. One comment I see is keeping up the calendar is tough. Yeah, it's probably tough if you're having a lot of different things happening throughout the year, but I would suggest just maybe listing those that occur annually, that's a constant thing. So maybe that's something to consider. Okay, the poll is back. 57% would like to attend with. Good point, yes. And as soon as the staff completes their thing, I'm sure the word will get out. Please, by all means, jump on and do the webinar or training. Okay. Okay, next poll question, or next one, updating content. I think we already touched on this. Again, there obviously is going to be a need for training and a process or procedure on how to do all this. So they may be a little bit out there, but in other words, if there's not, you can't find anything, please give an email to either Monica or one of the staff members that is versed on this updating content and so forth. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you out. Next. There's 3 ways you can update online through NativeAmerica.travel. Submit information through Cognito forms, or just contact AIANTA and they'll jump on it right away. And the email address has been put out, so take a look on the chat and you can contact Monica Poland. Okay. If you have posted or updated the content, let us know how that experience was for you, if it was easy, if it was not, if it was complicated or not very intuitive. By all means, don't hold back. This is the only way we can really improve a lot of things. Okay. There's a link to the Cognito form. You can take a look, download it, and resubmit, or contact one of the staff members, either Monica or Gail. Okay. Next.
So Emerson, we have a few more slides and just about 5 minutes left. So I think at this point, if we want to just kind of open it up for any other content comments, we can still show the slides in the background as we're discussing. But I know that, if anybody wants to make comments on items that we haven't discussed, we can kind of open this up as we're going through the slides as well.
Okay. IdeaExchange. What tools for any websites have been most helpful in keeping your content current? Do you prefer writing your own listing or having someone help you? Again, as Monica stated, just go ahead and put that in your chat and give us some good feedback. Okay.
Next slide.
Next slide. Visitor traffic. Poll question coming up. Go ahead and take your poll and do the poll. When traveling, my favorite activities are, select all that's applicable. And we'll see what the results are. Gosh, time flies when you're having fun, huh?
Prudy has a question while we're waiting for the poll results to come in.
Okay. Will we be allowed to put our websites on there? Whoever the tribal maintainer of the site is will probably allow that, and as long as it's not a commercial type, non-native type of site, I'm sure they will allow that, and we will get it on there.
We can embed websites onto a business page.
There you go. Thank you, Gail.
Mhm.
Okay, trying new local food. Culinary. That's probably a good thing to have. Maybe more tribes should be looking into that area, and also another area would be agritourism, because a lot of it may go from farm to table or field to table, however you want to call it. So that's a good thing. Okay. Next, some open discussion. What draws you to the site as it is today, or what doesn't? What can we be doing to attract more visitors to the site? Again, your input here is very important, so please provide that feedback. As you can see, in January it was pretty high and it's kind of dwindled down, but we're hoping to bring those numbers back up. Okay. Chat, business or experiences you'd like to see listed on NativeAmerica.travel. To subscribe to a consumer newsletter promoting travel to Native American destinations. Again, make your comments in the chat. I think as far as listings go, we just got to be cognizant that if the business or experience that you're going to have is going to be native owned or native operated, etc. Okay, next slide. Final thoughts. How can we best serve potential visitors? How can we best serve our partners in Indigenous tourism businesses? What would you make this? What will make this an award-winning site? Additional Q&A, please go ahead and ask questions in the chat and provide all comments, both negative, positive, or otherwise. You know, it's all useful. We don't get mad if we get negative comments. At least I don't. And I'm sure the staff are pretty open-minded. So again, it's only going to help us to really blow up our site and make it really that award-winning site we would like for it to be. So next slide. Another poll question. Would like to join AIANTA committee to help guide website? Yes, please sign up. We could use all the help we can. And again, it's just helping not only AIANTA, but also the visitors to the site, and also to build more numbers for those tribal enterprises that have tourism. And if you have great ideas, I'm sure a lot of people do, and you all have. If time permits, you have the time, please join. Join AIANTA and get on the committee to help us out. Okay, next slide. Okay, poll question, 57%, maybe it depends on the time. There you go. I know how everybody's busy. Again, if you have the time, please make contact with one of the staff members and let them know you're interested. And we hope to see you and have your name on one of our committees. I thank you again for your participation today, and hope to see you again at the next town hall. Again, I encourage everybody to make their comments, give us the feedback, because we sure could use it when we rebuild these sites or the site and enhance it more. Again, thank you for listening. Sherry? You're muted.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate all your comments.
And thank you. We will be posting this recorded webinar on the IANTA website, and we'll send a link to your email addresses. Please follow us at ianta.org/webinar for future webinars hosted by IANTA. If you are not a member of IANTA and would like to be, please contact Gail Shehak, which she has put her email address in the chat. And again, for more information, please visit our website, ianta.org. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here today, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.